Have you ever paused in the quiet of your own life and wondered if there exists a level of excellence so transcendent that it feels divine, as though the hand of a god had shaped it? In ancient cultures, artisans were rarely called gods themselves, yet the sacred aura of their craft and the unearthly perfection of their works were revered as divine intervention. Today, the lens has shifted. In our age of artificial intelligence, when someone produces work of staggering brilliance, we whisper, "That can't be human, it must be a machine." We judge the extraordinary as abnormal, suspicious even. But long before algorithms or assembly lines, an ancient Japanese ideal emerged that forged exactly this kind of astonishment: Shokunin Katagi, the spirit of the craftsman. Once you grasp its inner workings, mediocrity will feel like a betrayal of your own soul. Yet here is the unyielding truth. This spirit demands you pursue mastery in one domain at a time. Excellence is not a weekend project. It is a decade-long pilgrimage through fire, failure, and sacrifice, but the destination is a life of unshakable meaning. Before we descend into feudal Japan, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and drop a comment below. In what single arena of your life, your work, your studies, your training, do you burn to achieve excellence? Share it, and very soon I'll have news for those who walk this path with me. Stay close. Chapter 1. The Orphan Boy, Interior Japan, Feudal Era. A mountain-ringed village clings to the earth like moss on ancient stone. Mist coils through cedar forests. The air smells of wet soil and distant pine. At the village edge stands a forge, its wooden beams blackened by centuries of smoke. Inside, a 16-year-old boy stares at a cold anvil. His name is lost to time. He never sought fame. Yet what he forged echoes still. 3 weeks earlier, fever stilled his father in a single night. No final lesson, no whispered secrets, only silence where guidance should have been. The boy now carried 3 younger siblings, a mother coughing blood into rags, an empty rice jar, and a workshop that did not birth the blade in a month. 2 paths lay before him: shutter the forge, sell the ancestral tools, scrape by as a field hand, or dare to continue a lineage alone, without master, without map, without even the vocabulary of fire. Most would have chosen survival. But something older than fear stirred in him, something the Japanese would later name Shokunin Katagi. In the dim lantern glow of midnight, he rummaged through the workshop and unearthed a camphor-wood box. Inside, yellowed scrolls in his father's spidery hand-drawn diagrams of tamahogany steel folds, charcoal ratios, quenching baths, hammer angles measured to the width of a rice grain. He unrolled the first scroll. Half the terms were mysteries: yakiaya, sobit, nioi guchi. Yet the parchment pulsed with possibility. That night, he crossed an invisible threshold. He would not merely try to make swords, he would become a blacksmith. The difference is oceanic. Trying is tentative, reversible. Being is absolute. On the back of his father's scroll he wrote in charcoal ink, "I am a blacksmith. I will forge perfect katana. I will honor this blood." He signed it, pressed the scroll against the family Butsudan altar, and bowed. In the hierarchical culture of feudal Japan, such a vow was not theater, it was existential. As a Kyoto University anthropologist notes, a samurai's word was his soul. To break it was to erase oneself from the social fabric. The boy had chained his identity to the anvil. Dawn, 4 a.m. He fed the irori hearth with the last of the charcoal. The first bar of tamahogany precious steel smelted from Satetsu iron sand in distant Tatara furnaces glowed cherry red. Strike 1, the metal cracked like thunder. Strike 2, the edge warped. A week of failures. Each dawn the anvil rang. Each dusk the family ate thinner rice gruel and whatever fish he speared in the icy river. Neighbors muttered, "The boy courts madness," yet he heard a deeper rhythm. Chapter 2. The birth of the spirit. He abandoned speed. Each failure became a koan. Why the fracture? Temperature too high, note it. Why the warp? Hammer fall off. Axis practiced the arc in empty air until wrists bled. He rose at 3:30 a.m. Not from duty, but from obsession. Sleep was crowded with the day's ghosts. Before sunrise, the village awoke to the anvil's heartbeat steady, relentless, indifferent to sleet or fever. In the rigid social hierarchy of the Sengoku and early Edo periods, blacksmiths belonged to the Shokunin class, below samurai, above merchants, yet their work was sanctified. Guilds traced lineage to the kami of metal, takamikazuchi, no kami. Forges were micro-temples where impurity invited divine wrath. Our boy intuited this. He swept the earthen floor until it shone like lacquer, aligned every tool by length and weight, burned incense to calm the fire spirits. Chaos in space, bred chaos in steel. 6th week, he tested quenching for the 100th time. The scrolls commanded, immerse when the color mirrors the setting sun. But sunsets vary, crimson, vermilion, molten gold. For 3 days he did not forge, he observed. He heated scrap iron, watched the hue shift, felt the metal breathe. On the 4th dawn, something shifted inside him. He did not see the color. He felt the moment the steel surrendered its brittleness. Plunge. A hiss like a dragon's sigh. Steam spiraled in perfect calligraphy. The blade emerged flawless, hamon wave pattern crisp as frost on bamboo. He had touched the first secret of Shokunin Katagi. Mastery is not domination of technique, but communion with material. Yet perfection once is accident, perfection always is identity. Thus began the ritual, non-negotiable as the tides. 3003 a.m. wake. Cleanse the forge. Arrange charcoal in the sacred crane wing pattern. Sit zazen before the glowing mouth of the furnace, breathing in unison with the flames until mind and fire shared one pulse. Only then did he lift the hammer. Villagers scoffed. Why waste dawn's best hours on meditation? Forge faster, sell more. He smiled inwardly. In the Zen-infused guilds of Kyoto, haste was heresy. A master swordsmith of the Koto era once said, "Rush the steel, and you insult its kami. The blade will remember and fail the warrior when blood is needed." Speed was the enemy, reverence was the forge. 3 months later, sellable blades emerged. Local samurai tested, nodded, paid. Rice returned to the pot. His mother's cough eased. Most would have plateaued. Good enough. But Shokunin Katagi is a fire that consumes complacency. He began chasing subtleties invisible to others. The Kisaki tip's micro-curve for perfect iajutsu draw. The jihada grain that whispered of ancestral folds. The tsuka wrap tension that married hand to hilt like lovers. Each blade now took weeks, not days. The impatient samurai grumbled. "The next valley's smith delivers in 3 days." The boy replied, "Then die by his blade and haunt him, not me." The samurai returned, chastened, and never left again. Let me pause the legend to clarify a modern fear. The pursuit of excellence does not demand you neglect health, family, or joy. Shokunin Katagi is not masochism, it is discernment. Choose your ikigai, one sacred domain, and pour your soul there. In all else, be human. The boy still fished with his siblings at dusk, still carried his mother to the veranda to watch fireflies. Excellence in one arena frees you to love fully in others. The boy's blades now carried whispers of something beyond utility, something that made samurai grip the tsuka and feel their own pulse answer back. Yet the fire inside him still roared for more. He began to hear the steel speak in frequencies no one else could, a hairline inclusion here, a whisper of retained austenite there. Each sword became a conversation, not a product. And in the rigid etiquette of Bushido, where a blade was an extension of the soul, such dialogue was sacred. Chapter 3. The Complete Transformation. One winter dawn, hooves thudded on frozen earth. A daimyo's commander, scarred from Sekigahara, eyes like polished obsidian, strode into the forge unannounced. He had heard rumors of a boy who forged katana that sang in the scabbard. Skepticism armored him. At 4 a.m. the forge glowed like a dragon's heart. The boy knelt over a half-finished blade, polishing the Nakago tang, the hidden spy no eye would ever see after mounting. The commander's voice cut the silence. Why waste breath on a path the world will never behold? The boy did not flinch. Because I behold it. And if I know it is flawed, the flaw lives in me. The commander's breath caught. In that moment he saw not a boy but a mirror of his own unspoken creed. He knelt samurai to Shokunin and said, "Forge my soul's edge, take 3 months, take a year, I will wait." 3 months later the sword was born. Not forged, midwifed, each of the 1,000 folds was a sutra. The Yakiba temper line bloomed like moonlight on rippling water. When the commander drew it, the blade sighed. A sound like wind through bamboo, and cut a falling camellia petal in half before it touched the ground. Tears welled in the warrior's eyes. "This is not steel," he whispered. "This is you." He strapped the sword to his obi and declared, "Where I ride, you ride, you ride." Word spread on crow wings. Samurai from Ichigo, Kai, even distant Satsuma made pilgrimage. They did not come to buy, they came to commission legacies. Some waited 6 months, sleeping in the village shrine, offering sake to Inari for the privilege. The boy, now addressed as sensei though, barely 20, never raised prices. He raised standards. Each client left not with a weapon, but with a fragment of the boy's spirit, tempered and eternal. Yet here is the shadow side of Shokunin Katagi, few dare voice. When excellence becomes identity, the world narrows to a single burning point. The boy's siblings grew, his mother passed in spring. He forged through both wedding and funeral, anvil ringing like a temple bell. Excellence exacted tribute in birthdays missed, laughter postponed. But in the ledger of his soul, the debt was paid in full. Chapter 4. The Pillars of Shokunin Katagi. This is no mere tale, it is a map. 4 pillars hold up the cathedral of mastery. First pillar, irreversible commitment to quality. In the old guild halls of Sakai, swordsmiths signed blades with May, chiseled so deep the steel itself seemed to bleed pride. Our boy signed nothing. His signature was the invisible polish on the Nakago. The question is, never will they notice. But is this true? Mediocrity is a slow suicide of the spirit. Every time you ship 80%, you teach your nervous system to tolerate decay. Shokunin Katagi is the refusal to sign your name to anything less than your soul's maximum voltage. Second pillar, full responsibility for the outcome. When a blade failed in the old records, the smith performed seppuku, not for drama, but because the failure was his. No blame on impure sand, no excuse of monsoon humidity. Modern science confirms. Stanford studies on elite performers show the single variable separating the top 0.11% is internal locus of control. The Shokunin does not say circumstances. He says, "I will forge the circumstance." Third pillar, eternal humility, the beginner's mind. Even after Daimyo knelt at his forge, the boy kept a scrap of his first cracked blade on the altar. Every dawn he bowed to it, "Teach me again." In the Zen monasteries of Aiheiji, monks copied the same sutra for decades, seeking not perfection but the next imperfection to transcend. The ego calcifies, shoshin dissolves. The moment you believe you have arrived, you begin to rust. Fourth pillar, sacred process over result. The boy did not count swords sold, he counted heartbeats between hammer strikes. In the tea ceremony, every fold of the fukusa cloth is prescribed because the how determines the what. When process is prayer, outcome is prophecy. The result is not chaste, it is inevitable. Chapter 5. Application in your life. You do not need a forge, you need only a single arena where your soul refuses to kneel to good enough. Programmer, write every function as if a life depends on it, because someday one will. Refactor the hidden helper no user will ever open because you will open it and you will know. Designer, treat every pixel like a brushstroke on the Sistine ceiling. The negative space no one names is where the masterpiece breathes. Teacher, greet every student as if they carry the next Einstein in their pocket. The lesson you phone in today may be the one that dims a galaxy tomorrow. Parent, the bedtime story you rush is the memory that rusts. Read it slowly, with voices, with eye contact, because love is spelled T-I-M-E. Shokunin Katagi is not occupation, it is orientation. It is caring so fiercely that mediocrity feels like betrayal of the material, the client, the future. But hear this, mistakes are the tuition. The boy's first 50 blades were scrap iron and shame. He kept one shard on the altar beside the family Ehi tablets, a reminder that mastery is forged in the crucible of error. Respect the mess. Iterate in public, improve in private, stay calm. You are not late, you are becoming. Structure is the silent partner of spirit. Sacred hour. Choose one non-negotiable block, 5 a.m., 9 p.m., whatever your life allows, and guard it like the emperor's seal. No phone, no negotiation. The brain learns. This hour belongs to excellence. Entry ritual. The boy cleaned, arranged charcoal, sat zazen. You brew the same tea, play the same 3-minute song, roll the same shoulders. Ritual bypasses motivation, it summons the state. No 0 days. Even on fever days, do 10%. A single line of code, one sketch, one push-up. Neuroplasticity rewards streaks, not intensity. Miss 3 days and the neural scaffolding begins to rot. Chapter 6. The Final Transformation. 20 years later. The boy is 40, hair streaked with soot and silver. The anvil still sings at 3:30 a.m., but now smaller hands hold the hammer alongside his. He teaches his children first the spirit, then the steel. We do not make swords. We make trust. Trust that will ride into battle when a father's life hangs on one draw. Polish the nakago until it mirrors your soul, because the part no one sees is the part that decides who you are when no one is watching. The family workshop never grew large, no assembly line, no apprentices churning quantity. Only 4 hearths, 4 hammers, 4 lifetimes of obsession. Yet daimyo still send envoys with lacquered boxes of gold, and the waiting list stretches 2 years. The sign above the door reads nothing. Reputation is the sign. When you live this way, the world will call you extreme. Let them. Their comfort is not your concern. You will wake before the roosters and sleep after the owls, not for applause, but because the work demands it. Mediocrity will sting like salt in a cut. You will deliver a report, a meal, a conversation at 100% and feel the quiet hum of alignment in your bones. And one day you will realize the competition vanished. You are not racing others, you are outrunning yesterday's ghost. Recognition may come, awards, followers, wealth, or it may not. It does not matter. You possess the rarest currency, self-respect, that cannot be counterfeited. The orphan boy had nothing but a dead father's scrolls and a vow on rice paper. You have more. You have choice. There is no neutral gear in the human soul. Every day you either ascend or erode. You either sharpen the blade or let the edge go dull. You either step into the fire of Shokunin Katagi, or you drift into the gray fog of fine. Choose. Sign your own scroll tonight. Write, I am your craft. I will forge excellence. I will honor the lineage of my potential. Press it to whatever altar you keep, your desk, your mirror, your heart. Then wake tomorrow at your sacred hour. Light your small fire. Begin. The anvil is waiting. If this message struck flint in your spirit, subscribe and ring the bell. Excellence is not an act, it is a habit, and habits begin with a single, irreversible strike. Be present, walk with honor, follow the path. See you in the next video.